Welcome. My name is Barbara Marcum, and this is Friendship's Focus. I have today Raina Bennett, who is the executive director of a new program called St. Joseph's Helpers. You and I just talked for the first time just recently, and this is a brand new thing. So I was so excited to hear about it, and after speaking with you, it's like, oh, we've got to put this on our show. So let's welcome Raina.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Sure. Give us a little bit about your background first before we talk about St. Joseph's Helpers.
Okay, so I have been in senior care for 20 plus years in all different aspects. I am a social worker as well. I've always been an advocate for our seniors, and this is where St. Joseph's Helpers came into play, helping seniors who can't help themselves.
In what area? Okay, so where are you located and what areas do you serve?
So we are based out of Rockwood. That's where our office is, but that's more of a call center. We have volunteers all over in about 61 different communities within 3 counties.
Okay, and what are those counties?
We are in Wayne County, Monroe County, and Washtenaw, and we are growing. As we get more volunteers, our geographic location will expand as well.
Okay, and then what would be like the mission statement? What do you do?
We do basic home repairs to people in need. So our focus is on seniors, veterans, and anyone else who needs a helping hand.
Okay, do you have an age eligibility, or is it just if you call yourself a senior, you're over 50, 55, 60, whatever, may live alone, may have a disease, where you can't get around? I was really impressed because seniors often will lose a spouse. Often it's the husband. So women are by themselves and they don't know how to do a whole lot because their husband took care of it.
Exactly.
And I see the same thing with men. Their wives pass away. They don't know how to prepare a meal. They don't know how to do a grocery list. They don't know what needs to be clean. So, in the gender roles that we see in our 80 and 85-year-olds, it's if somebody is left alone for whatever reason, they don't cope as well. So
Right.
For women, don't know how to put in a garbage disposal. They may not know how to put in a filter for their furnace. They may not know a lot of things. So tell us a little bit about who you have volunteering, the kinds of things that they do in the home for seniors, and then what you guys need to expand and grow as an organization.
Okay, so for our volunteers, you don't necessarily have to be handy to volunteer your time, but we do have handy people who are retired. They might have been a tradesperson working in plumbing industry. So we have plumbing people, we have electricians, just an overall carpenter or a handy person that has owned homes and can do those little minor repairs. We also have advocates who can come out and go into the community and address, get people to know what St. Joseph's Helpers is about when you're volunteering. We have office abilities, so you can come in and work for the office in Rockwood. And then we also have helpers, is what we call them, where they would go out with the handy person that may not know the handy job, but can help hold a cupboard up or even talk with the client who might not have had anybody there for who knows how long. Visitors are nice, having somebody who has been alone for so long.
Yeah, we talk about loneliness being a big issue.
Definitely.
And some people stay in their homes for too long. Okay, so then you also, so it's your call center in Rockwood, but that may change. You may be getting other call centers as you get bigger.
Yes, we are working that out right now.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. So what kind of, you and I talked about a garbage disposal, and I said, and it depends on where somebody is financially and what they can do for themselves. So say somebody could afford the new garbage disposal, but they couldn't afford the labor to put it in. Would that be something that might be in your program?
Absolutely. As far as the garbage disposal goes, we have different business partners that we work with, and they help us get materials at a lower rate. And we would be able to get the garbage disposal, and if the the client is able to pay for some of it, all of it. It's up to them basically on what their finances are, because over 60% of our seniors are considered low income.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
a large percentage. Okay, so if somebody needs something done, do they just call your number? And then what is the process after that?
So we have a website where they can go online and be a client. You could volunteer from that website as well or donate. We also can be called into our office, and that just goes through just like a call center, and we try to match the volunteers based on their abilities and where their location is for the client.
Yeah, and how often do they have to volunteer? Like if they say I'm only available on these days.
That's the great part about this volunteering for our organization, because it's based on your availability. When you are volunteering for other types of charities, it might be a certain time frame. You might have to be there Tuesday at 2 o'clock. This is based on when you're available. So it kind of gives you that flexibility. I'm not available Tuesday, but I could work on Friday or Saturday and volunteer for you.
Yeah, because some people still probably may be working full time, or say
Yes.
I have a day a month I can give you.
Exactly.
It's pretty much what they're available for.
Right.
Okay,
Right.
so what kind of stories can you share about people who have called in, or do you have any good stories? Because viewers love good stories.
I have a story about, one of our clients were calling in, and she had a ramp leading up to her back sliding patio door. Well, she wasn't able to get in her house from her regular door because there were stairs, so they modified a ramp, but there was no locking. There was no locking from the outside.
Yeah.
So she would still have to go all the way around and not be able to use her ramp. She had a contractor called out to see how much it would cost to make a key for the outside, and she was quoted $1,500 just to repair that one little lock. And we had our volunteers who donate their time for zero labor, and we were able to do it for under $50. So now she can get in and out of her house safely. She doesn't have to worry about locking it, and going all the way around. That's one story. There's so many different stories. We've helped many veterans, which is so
Close to your heart.
Oh my goodness,
Mine
yes.
too.
Yes.
Our veterans are so wonderful. You know what I mean? And so we have a lot of seniors, a lot of veterans. People call me all the time. For example, I just had a lady who called me. She'd lost her husband in May, and then 3 weeks later lost her son, adult son. So, but she needed some lawn stuff done, and it's like, especially like cutting limbs off trees and bushes and stuff. And I got to be honest, it's really hard for me to recommend somebody, because you never know if that person's living alone, if they're going to be victimized in some way. So I like that there's an organization where you have people who come in who want to donate their time. Do you have to do background checks and everything?
Absolutely.
Okay, and so you know that they're criminal-free behavior.
Yes.
Okay, and then so what are the ages of your volunteers? Are they 18 and over? Anytime in between?
The majority of our volunteers are over 55, I'd say.
Okay.
Most of them are retired, but you can be at any age to volunteer over 18.
How did this whole thing start? You've been doing this less than a year, and you've been growing
Rapidly.
rapidly. So tell me, who came up with this and how?
One of our board of directors is the handyman of his own church, and was always reaching out to help, his own church parish.
Yeah, the people in it.
The people within his
parishioners.
own community, and he retired from a job that he was at for a very long time and wanted to give back. And he didn't want to just help the members of his church, he wanted to help others. So he came up with his board of directors with the idea. They hired me, and then we've just been running ever since.
Yeah, how many calls do you get? I mean, are you pretty well known now? I know you work with the Senior Alliance, so I'm sure that you're getting busy.
Yes, we are very busy. The Senior Alliance vets our clients for us, along with some other information center. There's other resources along with churches. They advertise for us as well. And yes, we are very busy.
Yeah, are you associated with any church?
No,
Okay.
we are our own independent organization.
Okay, it's funny because I have noticed that in the last decade or so, the churches are really not as involved as they used to be. Used to be able to go to a church 50 years ago and they would always help you. That's really not the case anymore.
And a lot of the churches locally, or their parish or church, people there are older, so they're the ones that need the help.
They are the ones
Yeah.
that need the help. I find that a lot, especially who is most of your, I can't say customer base, or you know what I mean? How do you really get calls mostly from elderly women, elderly men?
Our clients are mostly women. We do
I thought.
have men, but I'd say a good 75% is women. And when they hear about us, they think about all those to-do lists, that honey-do list that they haven't got done because maybe their husband had passed away years ago.
Right.
And now somebody's there that's able to help you. So the list sometimes with the clients calling could be very long.
And this is all household repairs?
Yes.
Or maintenance, this kind of stuff?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep, all within the house.
Okay. Now, is there any time that you can't do something, or your volunteers, either the job is too big, okay, or you don't have any volunteers that are qualified to do something, right?
We've kind of figured out what we're able to do based on our volunteer base, and it is just the minor repairs. We can't do anything large, and the state of Michigan also requires a certain number
Permits,
of hours, and
yeah.
we can't go anything that would be a contractor. So
Okay,
it's a
so
small,
say like somebody has a couple of wooden steps and the wood's rotted in the bottom step, and all they need is a piece of, thing cut and nailed in, and you
Yep.
can repair their step.
Absolutely.
Or a ramp or something for a veteran. If some of the wood is rotted, maybe, something like that. Is
right,
that
right.
okay?
So we don't do ramps
Right.
at this time, but we could do repairs. Yes.
Yeah. Oh no, well, we have a lot of people we have somebody in the city who is big on veterans, and anybody who needs help, he really tries to take care of it for them. So that's really nice. Okay, so this isn't for just low income.
No, it's for anybody who needs help.
Okay, and so how do they determine how much maybe you would pay versus, okay, so somebody calls and do they ask you what your income is? Do they ask you, can you possibly pay for the part? Because sometimes it's a little sketchy asking people, how much money do you have?
Right. Most of the people that have called in, I'm going to say the majority of the clients have already tried other places that are income restricted.
Oh, yes.
So the first thing they might tell you is that they are on a low income, they only make XYZ amount of dollars, they don't have it. So we don't do any kind of income requirements, but we would ask them if they're able to pay towards their material cost, because we're providing the labor at no cost.
Right.
And then if the material cost, we're getting it at a lower rate from, our local companies that we're working with, then we can get it lower than what they're expecting usually.
Yeah, sometimes it's like under the trap underneath the sink or this or that. I'm not very good at household things either, okay? Or your door comes off the tracks or something, you know what I mean? I got to tell you, I'm just not good at that. So,
Right.
But I get with women who need some help. Okay, so you do have a website.
We do.
Okay, and you also have a phone, which is how I got a hold of you, and an email.
Yes.
Okay, so we will provide all of those things up on the screen. So can you tell me what kind of talent? So you're needing electricians, you need carpenters, you need plumbers, handymen.
Yes.
What else?
We would love helpers who aren't handy.
Okay.
Office volunteers is always a must, because as we grow, we have, our office volunteers are once a week usually for a few hours.
Okay, and who mans your phones and from what time? Are they like 9 to 5, Monday through Friday? Or?
We are open from 8:30 till 3 Monday through Friday.
Okay.
And we take calls each of those days of the week.
Okay, is there an answering machine if you call after hours that
Absolutely.
you can leave your name and number?
Yep.
Okay. How many clients have you had so far? Probably hundreds.
This year alone, we have served close to 200.
Okay. Now, do you get any help from the churches? And
So
at all?
we apply for grants. We get community donations, yes, from churches and different organizations, Rotary, Knights of Columbus, whoever's able to donate towards it.
Okay, that's good to know because we have a couple of those organizations right here in Westland.
That's right.
I hope they'll be watching the show.
I hope so too.
Okay, so when you do, now, do you ever have anything donated like work supplies, like lumber or anything like that, or do you really just need the labor? Because you don't know if somebody's going to call if they need a garbage disposal or this or that, so you probably don't have anywhere to store a bunch of stuff.
That's exactly right. We work out of a
Don't
church.
say that, Barb, right? Yeah.
We work out of a church and we don't have the storage space. Plus, it's different for every job. So it's hard to tell what you're really going to need at this point. But we do have those business partners that help us get things at a lower rate so that they have them on hand for us when we need them.
Okay, if somebody wants to donate to your organization, would you recommend that they call you or send you an email?
They could just go right to our website.
Do you have a list there of things
Yes,
that you can
there's-
use or people that you need?
Yes, and it's in the middle of a little bit of a change right now, so we're changing our website up just a little bit, and there'll be more information also. But if you want to donate, there's a donate button right on there.
Well, I think it's great because a lot of low income, people have, they actually get more services through an area agency on aging. And so sometimes those people who just make $100 or $200 above that limit really have the hardest time making ends meet. So it's really good to know that there is an organization out there, and I really applaud the fact that it's just for anyone who needs help. And a lot of times people will say, we're happy to pay. That's not a problem at all. And so it's just a matter of finding somebody to do it for you.
Exactly.
So I think that's really great. So how do you like this? So you've been an advocate for seniors for a long time. What made you decide to take the jump and do this?
It was something new, and I was able to serve our seniors at a different capacity.
Yeah, no, I think
And
that's
aging in
wonderful.
place is important.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with you. We've been talking about that in different shows as we did them today. So, but I want to thank you so much. We're going to post all your information up, and they'll visit your. You have a website, and so we'll put all that up. And I'm very excited that we'll be able to help you promote your new business. And maybe next time we're talking, it'll be thousands of seniors that you've helped.
Oh, I hope so. I hope so.
All right. Well, it was wonderful having you today.
Thank you so much, Barb. Thank you.
Thank you, and thank you and our viewing and audience for being with us today.